I no longer felt any emotional pull from her actions. During dinner, one of Chloe's childhood friends suddenly spoke up, his voice cutting through the low hum of conversation. "Chloe, I brought those clothes you left at my place last time." The atmosphere around the long table instantly grew thick with tension, and I felt every pair of eyes shift towards me. Chloe's hand reflexively shot out to grab mine across the table, a panicked look on her face as she started. "Alex, let me explain." I smoothly moved my hand away from hers, affecting a natural ease as I reached for a piece of food with my chopsticks. "It's just a piece of clothing," I said to the table at large, my voice even. "I'm not thinking too much about it." A few people exchanged uncertain glances before one of them let out a nervous chuckle. "Alex, you're so forgiving. Not like my partner, he'd be interrogating me the second we got home." I offered a brief, empty smile. Perhaps it was forgiveness, or perhaps it was just apathy. Chloe and I had met during our freshman year of college at a club event. I was a new member of the street dance crew, and she was a percussionist in the orchestra. That day, illuminated by the stage lights, she played with a kind of relaxed yet defiant energy that captivated me. Every beat she struck seemed to resonate deep within my chest, a sudden, powerful rhythm that felt like it was rushing through my veins and exploding out of every pore. But now, sitting here, I could barely recall that heart-pounding sensation. I no longer found myself unconsciously tracking her movements or worrying about every little thing she did. At the table, my friend Ben slid a bottle of juice toward me. "Try this. White grape and acacia flavor. It's actually pretty good." Just then, Chloe picked up a shrimp and began to meticulously peel it with her bare hands. "Alex, this is your favorite boiled shrimp. Let me peel it for you." As she was about to place the shelled shrimp into my bowl, I silently shifted it just out of her reach. "No need to peel it," I said calmly. "There's not much meat, and it's a pain to shell. Don't get your hands dirty." To be honest, I felt a flicker of surprise, not because I was touched, but because I was faintly annoyed. Why wasn't she using gloves? Leo, the friend sitting on Chloe's other side, draped his arm around her neck. "Chloe, I like boiled shrimp too. Why don't you peel some for me? I don't care. You have to peel 10 for me today. If you don't, you have to drive me home." She laughed awkwardly, trying to push him away. "Stop it. My boyfriend is right here." For the first time, Chloe seemed to register the inappropriateness of their physical closeness. "It's no big deal. He's not angry. Why are you being so shy, Chloe?" Leo didn't seem to care at all, and even turned to me with a proud, challenging grin. "Right?" I ignored him completely. My indifference towards Chloe didn't mean I was willing to become a player in their private drama. I tapped Ben's arm. "Hey, have you arranged our ride?" He leaned in close, whispering, "Yep, my sister is graciously chauffeuring us tonight." Ben then grabbed a few napkins, wiped his mouth, and stood up, saying goodbye to the others. "We're done with dinner, so we're going to head out first." Chloe shot up from her seat, even grabbing my bag from the chair beside me. "I'll see you to your car?" Her sudden insistence was almost amusing. I politely declined her offer. "No need. Ben and I have other plans. We're probably going to be out late, so don't wait up." Chloe's oddly assertive behavior made me chuckle internally. Ben added with a hint of teasing, "No thanks, we don't want to interrupt you and your bros' night out." I had been swamped with work lately, traveling from city to city to secure a major project. Everything had finally fallen into place, and my boss had submitted my promotion application to the head office, which was approved without a hitch. Today she decided to bring me to their headquarters, promising a brighter future. I shared the good news with Ben immediately, and he excitedly organized this gathering to celebrate. Unfortunately, there were too many people here I barely knew, so Ben suggested we go hang out separately afterward. Exhausted and slightly tipsy from the celebration, Ben's sister dropped him off at his home first and then took me to mine. "No problem, I'm home. You can head back now," I told her. I unlocked the front door, only for it to swing open on its own. Inside, every single light was on, which surprised me as I stepped over the threshold. "You're back." I had fully expected her to be out all night with Leo and the others. Chloe was standing by the balcony, shrouded in a thin veil of smoke drifting in from outside. A cigarette was still smoldering between her fingers, and a small pile of butts was scattered on the floor by her feet. Her expression was lost in the haze, which only added to the melancholy atmosphere. Seeing me home, she opened her mouth to speak, but the words that came out were, "The soup I made to keep you sober has gone cold. Let me go warm it up for you." "No, I didn't drink much. I'm just a bit tired." I rubbed my forehead, glancing at the bowl of cold soup on the coffee table. Not a wisp of steam rose from it. I felt no surprise, no disappointment, just a faint sense of being burdened. I tossed the takeaway bag I was holding into the trash can. "Next time, don't wait for me. Just go to sleep if you're tired." The next morning, my internal body clock woke me up at its usual time. I glanced towards the balcony where Chloe had been standing last night. The cigarette butts had all been cleaned up, leaving no trace behind. At 7, I found 2 plates of freshly made egg pancakes on the dining table, along with a warm glass of milk and a perfectly chilled iced Americano. Chloe looked surprised to see me up, and before a smile could fully form on her face, she noticed the coffee, and her expression faltered. "Drinking iced coffee first thing in the morning isn't good for you." I took a sip of the warm milk. "That one's for you." Her lips were pale, and her voice was hoarse as she replied, almost in a playful whine, "I drank last night, so my throat's hoarse. I want to drink the milk." I was a little taken aback. "Didn't you always say that milk leaves no taste in your mouth, and only an iced Americano could properly wake you up?" Since I usually leave for work earlier, I had always prepared breakfast for both of us, including 2 glasses of warm milk. She never touched hers, however, always opting for a cold Americano she kept stocked in the fridge. Once, I had jokingly complained, "I warm up milk for you, and you still go for those cold drinks. You're not concerned about your own health, and you're not even worried that I might be." Chloe didn't seem to care at all. She had simply moved her cup of hot milk to the side and gulped down some of her iced drink. The hot milk sat there until it was completely cold and was later poured down the sink. Eventually, I went into the kitchen and got her another cup of hot milk. It wasn't worth a fuss. She kept trying to start a conversation with me, but always seemed to hesitate. She's never been particularly good with words. I've always known that about her. In the past, I would have racked my brain to find something to chat about, sharing funny stories from work or things that happened with my friends. She would reply now and then, but mostly there would be silence, or she'd cut me off with, "Alex, you talk too much, it's annoying." At some point, the urge to share my life with Chloe simply faded away. Now, there was only silence between us. I used to be a chatty person, but these days facing Chloe felt like standing before a strict teacher. I just wanted to get through the interaction. It felt like a hassle, and I wanted to flee. "Are you busy with work lately?" she asked, showing a rare flicker of concern. "Yeah," I replied nonchalantly. "I've got a big project, so I need to get going." After quickly finishing my breakfast and drinking the milk, I grabbed my bag and hurried out the door. Her words were lost in the sound of the door closing behind me. I didn't quite catch them. Oh well, they probably weren't important. As it started to get dark outside, I was surprised to see Chloe waiting to pick me up after work. This was not something that happened anymore. It was a relic from the early days of our relationship. She had long since forgotten what it meant to be a girlfriend. I blinked hard, but there she was, waiting by her car. "It's cold outside. Why aren't you waiting in the car?" I asked, deliberately avoiding her move to take my work bag from me, pretending not to see the flash of hurt in her eyes. I got into the passenger seat as if it were the most natural thing in the world. "Is your work keeping you this late? I remember you guys used to finish by 5. "Yeah, the time changed." Actually, the hours had changed quite a while ago. When the pandemic hit the company hard, there were layoffs, and the extra work simply fell onto the rest of us. But it had been ages since I'd asked her to pick me up from work. "Call me after work. I don't mind picking you up." In the past, words like that from Chloe would have made me overjoyed. I would have flashed a surprised smile, given her a big hug, and said, "Thanks, babe." But now I felt nothing but a hollow sense of sarcasm. She was just saying it to appease me. If I actually stood there waiting like a fool, she would find any number of excuses not to show up, like her childhood friend Leo was drunk or sick. "No worries. I got my driver's license now," I said, my voice perfectly calm. Chloe's hand paused on the steering wheel for a second, and the dim light of the evening hid her expression. I took a small notebook from my bag. "My dad said it would be easier commuting by myself and got me a new car. It's not that expensive, just a little over 10,000. The silence inside the car was suffocating and dull. Exhausted, I leaned my head against my palm, about to drift off to sleep when a jarring ringtone cut through the quiet. I opened my eyes to see Leo flashing on her phone screen, illuminating the night. The wallpaper, a photo of the two of us, was a painful contrast to the incoming call. Chloe instinctively silenced the phone, but it immediately began to ring again. "You should answer it," I said, sitting up straight and opening the ride-sharing app on my own phone. Sure enough, Leo's voice came through the speaker. "Chloe, it's raining and I forgot my umbrella. Can you come get me?" The streetlights slipped through the car window, showcasing the clear hesitation on Chloe's face. Worry was written all over her eyes as she snuck a glance at me. No expectations meant no disappointment. "Go ahead. Just drop me off at the next corner. I've already got a ride." My decisiveness seemed to surprise her. She instinctively grabbed my hand, trying to stop me from getting out of the car. She took a deep breath. "I can't just leave you by the roadside. Let me take you home first." For the very first time, Chloe had chosen me over Leo. Yet, I felt no happiness, just a profound silence. I thought back to about half a year ago. Chloe had come to pick me up, but as soon as I got in the car, Leo called. He was drunk, crying about something without any clear cause. I was furious. I had snatched Chloe's phone and said, "Come on, dude. Your sob story is literally reaching me through the phone. Are you seriously using someone else's girlfriend like this? What about your family, your friends? Why do you need someone else's girlfriend in the middle of the night?" Despite my anger, Chloe just frowned and looked down at me, her tone laced with displeasure. "What are you doing? He's just a friend. That was too harsh." "Too harsh? Chloe, you'd really leave me here to go to him?" "I don't want to argue. Just get some fresh air and calm down." She left me stranded on the side of the road. I ended up in a taxi that took the long route home, and with a heavy heart, I video called Ben and cried until I finally reached my front door. Chloe seemed different now, yet somehow she was unchanged. But to me it no longer mattered. That weekend, Ben invited me back to our old college campus for a visit. There's a whole street lined with food stalls there and a super popular escape room. I went once and was moved to tears by a couple's love story that was part of the game's narrative. I've always been a sensitive person, naturally emotional. Meanwhile, Chloe was my complete opposite, always more logical than emotional in our relationship. "Alex, my company is having a gathering this weekend. You can bring a +1. Are you coming?" "I'm busy this weekend. It's not really convenient." I was lounging on the couch, playing a game on my phone, and didn't even lift my head to look at her. I even used the voice-to-text feature to message Ben. "Ben, Why didn't you signal when you were going mid-lane? When the game finally ended, I noticed a shadow standing beside me. Chloe was staring down at me. I had no idea how long she'd been there. I was startled, thinking she had something important to say, but she just gave me a deep, unreadable look. Her face showed a kind of simmering frustration. She kicked over the small trash can by her feet, grabbed her jacket, and stood up quickly. Fine. I'll just have Leo take your place. She slammed the door on her way out, and I had absolutely no idea what I had done to upset her. Perhaps, for the first time, Chloe had wanted to make my existence known in her social circles, but I had obliviously turned her down. She's always been a proud person, so getting angry about being rejected is understandable. In the past, I might have tried to sweet-talk her and calm her down, but now it felt like a stone had been thrown into the placid water of my heart, causing ripples that quickly settled back into stillness. Ben picked out a set of clothes for me to wear. He has a really good eye for these things. I'm telling you, this outfit perfectly matches your sunny personality. You're going to be a head-turner. I need to straighten out your twisted fashion sense. I wasn't blind to the fact that I'm not typically handsome, and I don't carry off complex styles very well. But when someone you like has a certain taste, you subtly start to change your own tastes to match. Facing Ben's declaration, I just smiled and nodded, saying, "Okay," without any further explanation. You just got your license, and I'm fine with being your co-pilot. Is this a bond for life or what? Yeah, you're trusting me with your life, so I'll cover all the expenses today. Awesome! Then I won't hold back. I've got to make sure you pay up. We hit up all our favorite street food spots from our college days. Stinky tofu skewers, fried cakes, grilled cold noodles. We bought so much food that there wasn't enough seating, so we just squatted by the stall and ate. Along the way, thanks to our sunny dispositions, a few girls came over shyly, wanting to exchange contact information, but we politely declined with smiles. Alex, you're doing well, huh? What's this called? Aging finely? Ben teased. I stuffed a tangy grape into his mouth, put my hands on my hips, and laughed. Just eat your grapes. Where do you even get these outrageous words? I'm only a year older than you. 26, young and carefree, okay? My phone kept buzzing in my pocket. I finally picked it up to find several missed calls from Chloe and over 100 unread messages. An odd feeling swept over me. I hadn't thought about Chloe all day, nor did I feel any desire to share the fun of the day with her. The strange part was that the usually super busy Chloe had found the patience to try and reach me for so long. Maybe something had actually happened. I finally hit the answer button. Hello? Where are you? Out with Ben. What's up? There was a long silence on the other end of the line, so long that I thought she might have hung up. Do you remember what day it is today? I paused, but someone else answered for me quickly. Hey, today's Chloe's birthday. Did you forget? I went silent. It was an almost tacit admission of silence. I could hear Leo's smug, surprised laughter in the background. You really forgot, huh? Poor Chloe. It's just a birthday. I forgot today. We can celebrate it another day. I couldn't stand Leo's sarcastic tone and snapped back. I heard something clatter to the ground, followed by Leo yelping in pain. Then, Chloe took the phone back, her voice sounding almost incredulous. What did you just say? I shrugged it off and took a piece of gum that Ben handed me. It's what you said, right? Did you forget? I guess Chloe had forgotten. Last year I had gone all out preparing for her birthday. I even set up heart-shaped candles, bought 99 white roses, decorated the entire apartment with balloons and streamers, and got a big cake ready. I had even invited all our friends over. I was planning to propose to her back then. I loved her so much, it was like I was under a spell, desperately wanting a legally recognized partner. So that day, I let everyone witness me become a complete joke. It's just a birthday. We celebrate it every year. Leo and the others already invited me to a concert, and you know those tickets are hard to get." Her voice over the phone was so nonchalant, I could feel her impatience even through the call. "I worked so hard to plan a birthday party for you, and you didn't even want to come?" I gripped the phone tightly, disappointment flooding me like a relentless tide, overwhelming me and making it hard to stay upright. My chest felt tight. "Why did you bother? Don't be so presumptuous, it's just a birthday. If I miss one, it won't kill me. Can't you stop doing all this extra stuff? I don't need it." "Okay, but I'm your boyfriend." "So what? You get to make decisions for me? Can't you stop clinging to me? You're always so sensitive. Aren't you tired? Don't you have your own social circle?" "Why didn't you tell me earlier that you were going to the concert? Why didn't you let me come with you?" I bit my lip, finally asking the question that had been secretly burning inside me for a year. "Are you going with Leo? Just the two of you?" "What now, you're tracking my whereabouts?" I could almost picture Leo laughing behind his hand on the other end. "So annoying, asking me questions all the time. Is it fun? Do I need to report every single hangout to you? Don't I have any freedom?" With just a few words, she had turned my affection into a chain that bound her free spirit. She listed my so-called crimes, from interfering with her breakfast choices to questioning the distance of her relationship with Leo. What I had once considered acts of love were now my sins. "Can you stop acting like my mom? I don't want your plans or your help, not even with opening a bottle cap. I help only if I want to, not because you want me to." Now I was giving her exactly what she wanted. But here she was, questioning me for it. It was both funny and frustrating. "Is there anything else? If not, I'm hanging up." I was about to end the call, but then remembered that we hadn't broken up yet. After all, it was Chloe's birthday. I didn't want to ruin her day any more than I already had. I added softly, "I'm going with Ben to see the Lantern Festival tonight, so I can't spend your birthday with you. I'll make it up to you with a gift later." Then I hung up. The phone immediately rang again, and I just turned it off. In the morning, I parked the car at the foot of the mountain. Ben and I went up to see the sunrise and visited a temple that was still empty. We lit incense, made wishes, and got good luck charms. I knelt on the cushion, sincerely praying in front of the Buddha statue. I used to love Chloe, wishing that we would grow old together. Now I had 3 wishes. 1 for my parents' health and happiness, 2 for lasting friendships, and 3, I paused, that the first 2 wishes would come true. Ben joked, "Let us meet beautiful girls when Alex and I go out," and then bowed sincerely 3 times. I glanced over at him, and he met my incredulous gaze, exaggerating his expression. "Oops, did I say that out loud?" and quickly covered his mouth. Of course, no girls showed up. I drove him home and then leisurely returned to my own place. As I twisted the doorknob, opening the door and seeing someone sitting on the sofa, a wave of irritation washed over me. An unexpected wait is a burden for the one being waited for. "You didn't wait for me all night, did you?" As soon as I said it, I regretted it. Chloe was too proud for that. Since I had walked in, Chloe's eyes had been fixed on me. She was trying hard to control her temper, yet she forced a smile. "Did you have fun last night?" Her tone had a hint of sarcasm, maybe even passive aggressiveness. It made me uneasy, yet I suppressed the annoyance. "It was all right." Her gaze drifted to the small box in my hand. Her initial gloom evaporated as she reached out, her voice soft and smiling. "Is this my birthday present?" I instinctively pulled my hand back, avoiding her touch. "This is the lucky charm I got from my folks." Seeing her mood darken, I handed her a different gift bag from my coat pocket. "That one's yours." She took it, froze as she opened it, and then asked, "What's this?" "A watch, can't you tell?" I asked. "Alex, are you trying to piss me off?" Chloe's smile vanished completely. "Why would you say that?" I was puzzled. You once said this watch suited your taste, so I got it for you. You know Leo has the same women's watch. What are you trying to do? Nothing. Don't overthink it. I felt bothered. Even speaking to her was starting to annoy me. Are you hinting at something by giving me a similar men's watch? Are you trying to show how generous you are, or do you just want to push me away? She shouted, her anger building from having waited all night. I just want you to be honest with yourself. What do you mean? You always have these suspicions. I thought you had changed, but now you're bringing up old unfounded issues just to strain our relationship. I didn't want to have an argument so early in the morning. I went into the study and took a box from the top left shelf of the storage cabinet, ignoring her changing expressions, which ended in confusion and a deathly paleness. The box was labeled in her handwriting, "To the most beautiful Chloe in the world." I ignored it, opened the box, and pulled out a watch identical to mine, its face shattered. Yet she had kept it. Do you like the broken watch, or the person who gave it to you? Alex, let me explain. I cut her off. No, you listen. I thought you just said Leo's watch looked nice. I didn't know he had also given you one, until that day you had me bring a document over to your office. Seeing her pale face made me feel a strange sense of vindication. Tears welled up in her eyes. So, friends of the opposite sex can wear matching couples' watches, huh? You two look so fitting together, Chloe. The grievances I had once suppressed now had an outlet. Is my gift not good enough? Or am I not the right person to give it? I thought I had stopped loving Chloe, believing I could tolerate everything about her with indifference. But now, I couldn't hold back the anger, the feeling of exposing her lies, the grim thrill in finally confronting her. I realized I was standing up for my past, foolish self. Chloe, haven't I done enough? I was just being the boyfriend you wanted, so why are you unhappy? I gave you freedom, so why aren't you satisfied? Breakfast as usual, you can eat what you want. I never stopped your late nights out with friends. Childhood friends hug each other. I believed in your innocence. The jacket swapping and arm linking were normal. We're dating, not getting married. We parted on bad terms that day. Or rather, I left early to keep my own mood intact. I stayed at my parents' house for a few days and gave them the lucky charm. My mom posted a picture of it online, and my aunt commented, "I thought you didn't believe in these things." My dad quickly replied, "How did you know? Alex got it for us." While my life was calm, certain people couldn't stand the peace. Chloe's call came around 1 o'clock in the morning, but it wasn't her on the line. "Can you come stop this crazy woman? Chloe's drunk and trying to make Leo smash a watch, insisting that he come and apologize to you." Amid the commotion, my drowsiness faded. The winter night breeze was biting as I wrapped myself in a wool coat and scarf and headed out. This would be my last act as a boyfriend, picking up Chloe late at night. I once loved Chloe enough to care for her constantly, but now I had reached a point where I couldn't give any more. The emotions I had let go of led to letting go of old habits. Eventually, I stopped revolving around her and started feeling uncomfortable with her advances. I was giving her freedom, and myself as well. Though Chloe and Leo were close friends, this was my first time visiting his house. The moment I stepped inside, everyone else turned to look at me, except for Leo, who was curled up on the couch, crying. Chloe's best friend, Sarah, saw me like I was some kind of savior and pulled me into the room. "You're here, thank goodness." Chloe quietly watched me, her skin looking pale, tinged with a shade of red from drinking. With that cold expression on her face, she seemed like someone you wouldn't want to cross. At this moment, she stumbled a bit, leaning on Sarah for support, and then pushed her away to grab my shoulders. Her demeanor was incredibly restrained, and her voice was even a bit choked up. "Alex, there's really nothing between us. I admit the watch and some of my actions weren't handled well. Going forward, I'll cut ties with him. I won't even contact him anymore. Just don't be mad at me, okay? Don't ignore me, all right? While listening to her confession, I caught sight of Leo behind her. His face went pale, and his eyes were red and full of disbelief. I believed Chloe's confession and apologies were sincere, but I didn't need them anymore. I watched her pleading for forgiveness, feeling completely calm and silent. Chloe knows she made a mistake. Can't you just forgive her? Someone else chimed in. She really loves you, another voice added. All these voices, it was so overwhelming. It gave me a headache. So many people around, so many eyes on us. I felt like I was being grilled on a spit. You're drunk. Let me take you home, I said to Chloe, my tone like I was talking to a little kid. Her eyes lit up at the word home, and she clumsily held on to my hand. Okay, home. From getting out of the car to entering the apartment, she kept mumbling to herself, sneaking glances at me with visible excitement and satisfaction. Once I got her to the bedroom, I told her, Chloe, next time don't drink so much. All right, I'll listen to you. And don't call me again when you're drunk. This is the last time I'm picking you up. I pulled the house key from my bag and handed it to her. Here, this is for you. I'm going back to my place. She looked up, the silly smile still on her face, now frozen as she focused on me with trembling lips, a painful half-smile forming on her face. This is your home too, she said. No, starting today it's just your home, I replied. This was supposed to be the bridal home her parents had prepared for us, and I needed to return the key. She was stunned, unable to understand how someone who had been so affectionate just moments ago could suddenly end things. She looked around the room and realized that everything that was mine, my things on the vanity, in the closet, even the photographs by the bed, were all gone. I offered a modest and distant smile. Let's give each other a bit of dignity. Let's break up. Alex, give me another chance, okay? Let's go back to how we used to be, please. No, not at all, Chloe. I looked at her and felt surprisingly calm. I used to imagine a day when Chloe would beg for reconciliation, but now that it was actually happening, there was no sense of satisfaction in it for me. Why not? You used to love me so much. Why can't you continue? You didn't like it when I got too close to other men. I'll only have you by my side. Isn't that good? She held me tight, as if trying to absorb me into her very being. But I lacked the desire to struggle, and simply stated the truth. Looks like I don't love you anymore. I felt Chloe freeze momentarily. If it's obvious when you love someone, it's equally obvious when you don't. Before, if I caught a whiff of alcohol on you, I'd worry about your health. But now you're holding me, and all I can think is, you stink. She let go, staring at me in disbelief, her eyes filled with pain, resentment, and utter confusion. Alex, why aren't you the least bit sad? Maybe to her, if she saw pain and reluctance in my eyes, it would give her something to feel smug about, even amidst the disappointment. I looked up at her. Honestly, I had already processed all the hurt on my own long before this. Get some rest, I said. When you wake up, just see our past as a dream. No. The sound of the door closing cut off her response, just as remorseless as she used to be when she would leave me for someone else. I got an offer for a transfer, and I was heading to the head office soon. Maybe it's true what they say. Unlucky in love, lucky in money. My parents carefully packed my things and gave me a talisman for good luck. Right before boarding the plane, I got a message from Chloe. Are you leaving? Delete, power off, all in one swift motion, wishing for both of us, may every barrier be overcome. Wherever the road leads, may it shine bright. Like two flowers in bloom, we each go our separate ways. After countless joys and sorrows, we may never meet again. Yet we each have the potential for a brilliant future. When did I notice he wasn't the same as before? It was probably on some random day. I was hanging out with Leo and the gang, drinking and singing the night away. I got drunk and crashed on Leo's couch until noon the next day. I woke up with a pounding headache and instinctively checked my phone, expecting to find a bunch of frantic messages and irritating questions from Alex that always managed to dampen the fun. To keep him from ruining the vibe, I would usually put my phone on silent and ignore his notifications. Eventually, I just started turning it off altogether. Oddly, this time, after I turned it back on, there were no new texts or missed calls. I took a deep breath, feeling a strange sense of relief. Leo had woken up at some point, sprung up from the couch, and grabbed my phone, laughing. "Are you really going to report your achievements to your man first thing in the morning? Doesn't that just kill the fun?" Leo knew my phone password, and he started scrolling through my messages with Alex in no time. "Give it back," I snapped, finding him annoying for the first time, and snatched the phone back from him. Leo pretended to be upset, teasing, "Why so stingy? What's the big deal about checking your messages? You've lost all your sense of fun." He grinned playfully and asked tentatively, "Did your clingy boyfriend forget to check in on you last night? That's unusual." Going through my phone without my permission is kind of overstepping, don't you think? "We're like brothers. It's not the same, is it?" he said, punching my shoulder casually, but his matter-of-fact tone bugged me. I brushed his hand off and got up to leave. I wasn't in the mood to talk anymore, but deep down I felt a twinge of guilt. The truth is, Alex always had my best interests at heart, even if he was a bit overbearing sometimes. After a heavy night of drinking, he'd nag a bit, but there would always be a bowl of warm soup waiting for me when I got home. Driving back, I remembered there was a flower shop near my building. Alex loves his flowers, especially lilies that are just about to bloom. It was kind of like his calm and gentle nature. I thought about buying him some, imagining how he'd react, and the thought made me pretty upbeat. But when I got to the shop, it was closed for good. There was a "For Rent" sign hanging on the door. Looking at the empty storefront made me feel uneasy for some reason. That feeling only grew when I opened my apartment door and was met with complete silence. "Didn't come home last night. Where were you?" I couldn't help but text him that while sitting on the sofa, but it was like sending a message into a void. There was no reply at all. As I waited for him to get back to me, my mind wandered into all sorts of scenarios. It wasn't until around lunchtime that I heard keys jingling at the door. That sound, for the first time, made me feel a bit relieved, though I didn't let it on, asking instead, "Why didn't you reply? Where were you?" He looked a bit surprised, but casually said he had stayed at Ben's place and his phone had died. No biggie. I wanted to snap at him for not messaging me when he decided to crash elsewhere. But then I remembered that I never used to check in either when I was out overnight. Thinking of all this, he was already off to work again after changing his clothes. I stopped him. "Tomorrow, we're having dinner with Sarah and the others. I've already agreed." "I've got plans with Ben." He hesitated to decline, but I blurted out, "Bring him too. The more, the merrier." Honestly, I couldn't stand that friend of his. He's always criticizing me. I can't figure out how Alex, who's so chill, hangs out with such an annoying guy. At dinner, Leo blurted out some nonsense. "Chloe, I brought the clothes you left at my place." Everyone at the table was stunned. I instinctively wanted to explain because Alex usually notices these things, but he just nonchalantly continued eating, even cutting me off. "It's just clothes. I'm not bothered." I was dumbfounded, watching my attempt to explain fizzle out. It's odd, though. I've always wanted him to be like this. But now that he was, I couldn't shake this subtle unease and awkwardness. This feeling lingered until he left with Ben. I offered to carry his bag to the car, but he politely refused, and Ben took a dig at me. Better not ruin your vibe with your guy friends. Alex didn't say anything on my behalf. He just left. I lost my appetite and drove home. Leo wanted to drag me out for drinks. "Hey, while your boyfriend's not watching, come hang with us." Already annoyed by his dinner table antics, his invitation irritated me even more. "I'm not in the mood. Shut up." Once home, the place was ghostly empty. I'd had a couple of drinks earlier, and knowing I'd have a headache later, I rummaged for honey to make some warm honey water. But the stove wouldn't light, and then I remembered Alex had mentioned we were out of gas. I hadn't paid it any mind then, so now I had to go out and buy more. The steam from the hot soup I eventually made cooled as the minutes ticked by. Waiting felt like this. I pulled out a cigarette, but then remembered how Alex used to beg me not to smoke in the living room. I closed the balcony doors and smoked outside, gazing at the neighbors' lights that seemed so much cozier than our place. Lost in my thoughts, I grappled with guilt, thinking about making things right. Yet I found out later that he had already stopped caring. Because of the aloofness, the acceptance, and the sense that he didn't need to try anymore. There was no excitement about our future, no concern for my smoking habits. Those late-night thoughts let seeds of anxiety spread, growing stronger in the chilling wind. I desperately wished for us to go back to bickering and being open with each other. Even if he nagged, at least I'd feel like he cared about our future, but he just didn't care. He knew I was trying to make amends, to change. I was even willing to be the one waiting for him late at night. But he wouldn't even give me that chance. He forgot my birthday, just like I once forgot his, casually, as if it was nothing. I tried to suppress my disappointment and fear, telling myself I couldn't lose my temper with him. Yet, in a moment of fraught emotion, I knocked over the cake. It's funny, if you think about it. What right did I have to be angry? He came back the next day, only after I'd sent everyone else away. That night, I was planning to propose. The ring was hidden in the rose on the cake. I wanted to hold his hand and say, "This year, my wish is to marry you." But he never came, and my heart felt like it was being ripped open. I sat there waiting the whole night until he finally returned. Oddly, my first thought was relief. At least he came back. I didn't dare ask, didn't dare bring up the changes between us. If I did, he might not even bother explaining before ending things. I thought the amulet was a gift from him, and as I was about to accept it, he handed me another bag, his expression bored and indifferent. "This is your gift." What was that supposed to mean? I trembled inside, and he just shrugged like it was nothing. Suddenly, I realized he knew all along. The fear enveloped me, making me dizzy. I had to explain. I couldn't let him misunderstand. Even lying would be better than this. I was clinging to that thought, but he just didn't care. He disregarded my explanations, just left, and moved back to his parents' place. I ended up at Leo's in a daze. He opened the door, yawning, still poking at me. "Weren't you busy making up with your sweetheart? Got time for me now?" I ignored his sarcasm, grabbed his wrist, and demanded, "That watch, where is it?" "You've lost it?" I was possessed, thinking that if I destroyed that pair of watches, if I showed him my resolve, he might come back. But really, he had long since moved on. It was all just me, lying to myself.